Imagine waking up in the morning, feeling tired, uninspired, and unable to push yourself to do the things you know you should do. You've got goals. You've got dreams. But somehow, the energy and excitement you once felt seem to have faded. You scroll through your phone, watch other people's lives, and think to yourself, why can't I stay motivated like that? What if I told you that it's not that you're lazy, and it's not that you lack discipline, but rather that your brain's natural motivation system, its dopamine system, might not be working the way it should? Understanding how dopamine works can completely transform the way you approach motivation, productivity, and even happiness. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, but that's only half the story. It's not just about pleasure. It's about anticipation, drive, and the desire to pursue something rewarding. Think of dopamine as the brain's currency of motivation. It's released not just when you achieve something, but even more powerfully when you anticipate the reward. That's why the first bite of your favorite food tastes so good, or why you get a rush of excitement when you're about to win a game. Your brain is wired to release dopamine, to push you toward actions that it believes will bring rewards. But in today's world, we're surrounded by instant gratification, endless scrolling, binge-watching, sugary snacks, and notifications that give us tiny, artificial bursts of dopamine. Over time, this constant stimulation can make your natural dopamine system less sensitive. It's like turning up the volume so high that you can't hear the music anymore. Suddenly, real, meaningful tasks like studying, working out, or building your dream business feel boring and difficult, even though deep down, you know they're important. The good news: you can reset and rewire your dopamine system. You can train your brain to crave progress, growth, and discipline instead of cheap hits of instant pleasure. And when you do, motivation will feel natural, not forced. You'll find yourself drawn to your goals instead of having to drag yourself toward them. This is the secret behind some of the most successful and disciplined people in the world. They've learned how to work with their brain chemistry instead of against it. Think about the last time you were deeply excited about something, a project, a new skill, or even a trip you were planning. Do you remember how naturally you felt motivated to take action? You didn't have to push yourself to think about it. You wanted to do it. That's dopamine at work. It's the chemical that creates curiosity, excitement, and the urge to move forward. Without it, motivation feels like a heavy weight you're trying to lift with sheer willpower. With it, you're almost unstoppable. One powerful shift in understanding is this: dopamine is released more in the pursuit of a goal than in the actual reward itself. That's why chasing a dream often feels more exhilarating than achieving it. This means the key to natural motivation is to focus on the process, the small steps, and the anticipation rather than just the end result. When you learn to enjoy the journey, you create a self-sustaining loop of motivation. Now, imagine this in your own life. Instead of forcing yourself to start working out, what if you could make your brain actually crave the workout? Instead of struggling to focus on your studies, what if you could feel a rush of anticipation every time you opened your notebook? This isn't just wishful thinking. By understanding how to leverage your dopamine system, you can create habits and routines that make motivation automatic. One of the first things to understand is that dopamine is not infinite. When you flood your brain with artificial dopamine like scrolling through social media for hours, you're essentially borrowing motivation from your future self. The next time you need to focus on something meaningful, your brain feels flat, uninterested, and unmotivated because the receptors are temporarily overloaded. That's why detoxing from instant gratification is so powerful. When you remove or reduce those quick dopamine hits, your brain recalibrates, and suddenly the simple things exercising, creating start to feel exciting again. Another important principle is the concept of small wins. Your brain loves progress. Every time you complete a small task, your brain releases a little dopamine, which encourages you to keep going. This is why breaking big goals into small, manageable steps is so effective. Instead of staring at a giant mountain of work, give your brain reasons to celebrate along the way. Even checking off a box on a to-do list gives you a small burst of dopamine that fuels further action. This is why successful people often track their habits or celebrate milestones. It's not just for show. It's a neurological strategy. Consider this: when you're playing a video game, you feel motivated to keep going because of the constant feedback, points, achievements. Life can work the same way if you create your own feedback loops. Set daily challenges, track your progress, and give yourself small rewards. Over time, your brain will begin to associate effort with pleasure, and motivation will flow naturally. There's also the element of novelty. Dopamine loves novelty. It's why starting something new feels exciting, but sticking with it feels hard. The trick is to keep introducing small elements of novelty into your routines so your brain stays engaged. This could be as simple as changing your workout playlist, trying a new study technique, or working in a different environment. By keeping things fresh, you keep the dopamine flowing. But there's another layer to this. Dopamine is deeply connected to your identity and beliefs. If you see yourself as someone who's unmotivated or lazy, your brain will subconsciously act in alignment with that identity. But if you start seeing yourself as someone disciplined, focused, and resilient, your brain will begin to release dopamine in ways that reinforce that identity. This is why affirmations, visualization, and self-image work can be so powerful. They're not just positive thinking. They're literally rewiring your brain's motivation system. Think about elite athletes, entrepreneurs, or creators who seem to have endless drive. Many of them aren't just relying on discipline. They've built identities and environments that naturally trigger dopamine in ways that support their goals. They've learned to attach excitement and anticipation to growth rather than distraction. And you can do the same. Let's go deeper into how you can begin to shift your own habits and routines. First, become aware of your dopamine drains. What are the things in your life that give you quick hits of pleasure but leave you feeling empty afterward? It could be social media, junk food, video games, or even certain types of entertainment. These things aren't inherently bad, but when they dominate your day, they hijack your brain's reward system. Start by limiting or scheduling them intentionally, instead of letting them happen automatically. Second, replace those drains with dopamine investments activities. That might feel challenging at first, but pay off in long-term motivation. This includes exercise, learning, creating, meditating, or spending time in nature. These activities don't just give you a quick spike. They help your brain build a stronger baseline of dopamine, making you more motivated overall. And third, learn to savor anticipation. Instead of indulging immediately in every pleasure, delay it slightly and build up the excitement. This could be as simple as planning your favorite meal for the end of the day after, completing your tasks, or waiting until the weekend to watch your favorite show. By delaying gratification, you're training your brain to release dopamine in anticipation, which strengthens your motivation muscle. Another overlooked factor is your environment. The people you surround yourself with, the spaces you work in, and even the way you start your mornings all influence your dopamine levels. A cluttered environment can drain you, while a clean, organized space can prime you for focus. Being around motivated, positive people naturally boosts your own dopamine through social mirroring. Designing your environment to support your goals is one of the fastest ways to change your motivation levels. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is that motivation is not something you wait for, it's something you create. By understanding your brain's natural chemistry, you can stop relying on willpower alone and start working with the powerful system already inside you. When you master the dopamine effect, you stop being at the mercy of your moods and start becoming the architect of your own drive. When you begin to master your dopamine system, you're no longer chasing motivation, you're cultivating it from within. Start small, reduce instant gratification habits, create clear goals, celebrate tiny wins, and deliberately build anticipation before rewards. As your brain resets, you'll notice that tasks you once avoided begin to feel exciting and meaningful. Your energy rises naturally, and you stop relying on sheer willpower because momentum starts carrying you forward. Over time, you'll realize that motivation isn't some mysterious force that only a lucky few possess. It's a skill, a science, and a system you can train. The dopamine effect isn't about hacking your brain for quick highs, it's about aligning your daily actions with your deeper values so that progress itself becomes pleasurable. Every step you take to rewire your habits strengthens your identity as someone disciplined, driven, and unstoppable. And as you keep going, you'll see your goals shift from being distant dreams to inevitable realities, because your mind, your body, and your motivation are all working together. So, take the first step today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Your future self is waiting, and with each action you take, you're proving to yourself that you have the power to stay motivated naturally for life.